this ain't no ordinary stream. From the ashes, Phoenix talks manifest in a dream. Got a growing channel, YouTube's where the wisdom resides. For all the nest members, no truth can ever hide. She's an under detective on the digital beat, questioning the unthinkable, bringing fire to the heat. With a mind so advanced, highly intelligent and bold, part of the hive mind with birdie stories to unfold. Common sense is a superpower, cutting through the noise, unlocking closed minds, amplifying all our voices.
Phoenix, Phoenix, what do you see? Unlocking knowledge for you and me. The nest is rising strong and true, sharing wisdom, me and you. Clap, clap, clap for the truth we seek. Every answer, week by week.
Okay, can you hear me now? Oh my God. Don't tell me no one just heard the last 15 minutes of me talking, because if I have to go over that all again, well, here I go. Today is Monday. Happy Monday. And today is July 28th, guys. 6 more months. It'll be, well, actually 5 months. It'll be Christmas. I am going to welcome you all into the hive today, and we are going to get started. I thought I was on stage. I guess I wasn't. I forgot to put myself there. You missed a bad venting session. You guys are so lucky to be here. Oh, okay, you little nesters, come on in. Let me get this rolling, and hopefully buckle up, Buttercup, because I am going to give you the reason why the state of Idaho let Bryan Kohberger live. And we're going to give you some shocking evidence. And you're going to wonder, what the hell did we just witness? If you haven't already. If those court documents haven't opened your eyes, well, good morning, sunshine. Good morning, because I'm going to give it to you. You know, when I look through those documents, you're going to hear a lot of things first here, because I do the work. There's a lot of good creators out there, but Euphoric is in the not Euphoric. Who was that was just in the house? If you don't follow them, go follow them. They are amazing. Karmic retribution. Here we go. Let me go back to the beginning. I cannot believe you guys didn't hear me. Oh my God. I just gave one of my best rants. Okay, let's get into it. I heard earlier today. Now, I'm going to tell you one thing. Yes, there are thousands, if not more, documents that we will never see. We will never get the whole story. And why is that? Because they don't want us to know. They want us to know just enough. And that's what we got. We're not doing court documents today, guys. We are digging into the facts, other than one little piece of evidence that is massive why the state let Bryan Kohberger live. And when I say that, I mean not take the death penalty. And they gave him a plea deal. Now, why is that? We're going to get into the evidence. We're going to get into the facts, because they say they want to give us transparency. They throw up a website. They give you a little bone, right? Go chase that bone. And what you're not going to see is the bigger picture here, folks. You guys that are focused on the frats, you guys that are focused on the roommates, you've got to focus at a higher level. You're going to get the answers you want eventually. You're going to come to the conclusion that it wasn't the frats and it wasn't the roommates. You're going to come up with the higher conclusion. Why was this done? What happened that early morning? What is going on? And when you get to that part and you see the bigger picture, it will be like, what the hell did we just watch? Why are we questioning what can't be changed? And like I said, you have to go through the storm sometimes. You can't get away from the storm. You got to go through it. And a lot of people have asked, how did you come up with Phoenix? Well, you know the beautiful bird that you see when I start my live? That bird has gone through the ashes, through the fire. Out of the ashes comes a phoenix. And if you had to be an animal today, a mythical creature, whatever have you, what would you be? What would you be today? Because here in the nest, we are going to rise above what we witnessed. I think we just witnessed the massive psyop in our day to cover up I mean, I think we all agree we can handle the truth nowadays. We've seen a lot of stuff. I mean, we've seen a lot of evil in our lifetimes. I think that we can handle the truth here. What do you guys say? Can you handle the truth? Because if you can handle the truth, I'm about to give you the truth. No BS, just the plain, simple truth. Look beyond the frats, look beyond the roommates, look a little higher, and then you'll understand what's really going on. Is this some territorial shift issue? Is this some political nonsense? What's the real reason this happened? Is it a territorial war? Well, let's watch a video and then I'll get to it. Let me get my act together here and put this on the screen. You haven't watched my TikToks yet. I'm trying to put, every time I make a TikTok, I'm definitely trying to get it over to my YouTube shorts. A lot of people said they love the shorts. Well, we're going to give you the shorts. But if you haven't seen this video yet, it's going to say a lot. Come on. I feel like some days people are trying to put tape over our mouths, blindfolders on everyone so they can't see or hear the truth. And if that's you, put your hand up or put a 1. Because I really feel like some days they're just trying to stop us. Holy freaking moly. I'm going to try not to crash out here, guys. Let's see what we can get. All right, well, maybe it's not going to let me do it. Some days I just don't understand the internet. Believe me, I really want to crash out about right now.
Did you know that there's only one witness in the state of Idaho v. Bryan Kohberger that can actually exonerate him, or perhaps say that he was there and he's factually guilty? But let's listen to what the defense, and
Hopefully you
let's
guys
know
can
that
see
there's
this.
only one witness in the state of Idaho v. Bryan Kohberger that can actually exonerate him, or perhaps say that he was there and he's factually guilty. But let's listen to what the defense, and let's listen to what the prosecution did.
We have no qualms about going to trial if trial was what was necessary and appropriate.
Let's listen.
The following week after we were in court, we were approached by the defense with an inquiry about a possible plea. And I can tell the court this is the first suggestion ever that there was any consideration, because indeed the defense had maintained from the beginning that Mr. Kohberger, the defendant, was factually innocent.
So we all heard that, right? We all saw what happened. They were ready to go to trial. The prosecution said they were. The defense was ready. We know that, because the defense said their client, Bryan Kohberger, was factually innocent. Now, if he was factually innocent and the prosecution was saying he was 100% guilty and they could prove it, why did they take a plea deal? Why did they approve a plea deal? What was that purpose? But let me show you the police reports and what they had in their evidence files. Right from the evidence reports, is Bryan Kohberger, the offender, one witness with the initials of J.N. One witness. Who was that one witness the police had? I don't see an interview report. Half of this stuff you don't see reports. Who was that one witness that could actually say, yes, I was there with Bryan, or no, I was not there with Bryan? And where is all the other evidence? There is none. The prosecutor said he didn't stalk. He did. Guys, this is wild. They couldn't put him there. They couldn't put him anywhere. Who is this person that's a witness? Because I'm baffled. Like and follow for more. Be well. Did you know that there's only one witness?
Okay, so I hope you guys caught that. The state of Idaho, hope you can see this, it's big enough, only had one witness with the initials of, I think it was J.N. Hold on a minute. First name, wait a minute, hold on. J, last name N. One possible witness. Okay? There is a supplement, yes, Amanda, 20, that is a witness overview. And you know what? I should probably bring that up. Let me do this. Let me email it to myself real quick. And I want you guys to listen to this one statement. Let me grab my glasses. Did you guys hear about that? There was only one witness that the state had. The state. It doesn't say for the defense, because the state would never have the defense information in here. There was one. This is evidence. Okay? Evidence. There's one person that they had on their list. Now, I don't know who this individual is, but I do have a source that is very vetted, and we know for a fact that Bryan is factually innocent. And what are we going to do about it? Well, what did the state do about it? Okay, what did the state do about it? They did nothing. Ann Taylor went back and forth with the state. Let's let the truth out. No, they wanted to suppress it. They wanted to suppress the truth. They didn't want to tell the truth. They didn't want to say, "Oh, we messed up." Okay? If this case would have went to trial and Ann even added all the factual information for the state of Idaho to see in those documents. Okay? And what happened? Nothing. Abso-freaking-lutely nothing happened. They didn't take the death penalty off the table even when Ann had experts do testing on Bryan Kohberger's brain. Yes, in those, and if you haven't seen those documents, I've got a freaking lineup for tonight. And if I can't get to it tonight, we will review those and you will see that yes, Kohberger is very smart, intellectually schooled. He probably would have been a student for life, if not trying to get a job somewhere. But they were so critical of his autism being another whole ASD level in ADA that kids and adults with autism should never be discriminated against. And I will tell you, yes, they are socially awkward. We all know that for sure. It's studied, it's part of the ASD, but that doesn't mean they can't do the job well. And I don't want to get on the tangent right now because I will in my next live that I do about ASD, and I'm so passionate about it because my son has autism and there are quirks, there are tics, there are meltdowns, there is a process of handling this. And when you start looking at these supplemental documents, I want you to remember and keep in mind that some of these are third party. We're not seeing all the documents, and the state will, and the police department will never. They are not. They are not going to let us know the truth. So, with one witness statement that they possibly had, let me pull this up for you. And we'll read this one document. Let me grab it. And chat, I'm not ignoring you. I'm going to take your pulse in a minute. Have you guys had a chance to read some of these documents and let the information sink in? Have you had the chance to digest a little bit of information in this case for you to factually see that Bryan Kohberger is in fact innocent? Cy nowhere can place him there. The only piece of evidence they had was on a DNA knife sheet. They didn't have any evidence coming back through their warrants, their searches, the pings. Nothing puts him there at the time of the crime. And by the way, that timeline was changed. And I will show you that. I've got that slide all ready to go, and I'm going to show you the timeline switch. They had to change the timeline. If they didn't change the timeline, none of this would make sense. Think about it factually. If someone gave us, let's say, some chance that they said, yeah, I got a witness that's going to come and step forward and say everything, do you think that that would work? Molly McMichael didn't work. I think that's when the state knew they were screwed. They had nothing. They had nothing on Kohberger. And yes, I do believe they've absolutely ruined his whole life in the media. And that was the agenda, to humiliate him. That's part of this whole sick ritual. And don't take that too lightly when I say ritual. Because when someone of higher power or controls the narrative, you're going to understand what a ritual is right in the public eye. And you should dislike these people. Now, I'm not saying hate. Hate's pretty strong. You should dislike the people that are out there lying to you. You should have some type of discernment to say, shit, this guy's lying to me. I don't believe a damn word. You know, I'm like that all the time. I get so many kooky people messaging me, telling me what a cunt I am. Oh, yes, I did. Do you think I'm going to share that? I don't receive that message, whoever sent that. I'm on you. There are humiliation rituals. They do exist. And this is one of the biggest ones I've seen yet. So let's read document 20. So everyone's on the same page today. We are just going to read this one document. And this says, this is their witness. And do I think Bryan knows who did this? Absolutely he does. He knows exactly who did this. All right, let's read this document for you. And then we will get into the rest. So this statement was taken from Aaron Morris, which lines up on the evidence file. It was taken at 11/17/22 at 2:56:32. Now, keep in mind, police officers, let me take the chat off this screen real quick so you guys can see it better. And if you can't see it, turn your phone, if you're on your phone, sideways. If you're on your computer, just try to blow it up as much as you can. This was number 20 in the sequence. And this report was taken on 11/17/22. Now, these reports were printed out and released to put up on the website on January 8th, 25. I'm sorry, July 8th, 25. So the sentencing wasn't until July, what day was it? 23rd? So they prepared this 22 days, some days in between beforehand, knowing that they were going to put selective reports up on their website. And we only see the reports they want us to see. We only see the reports from people who have moved on from that job, who have gone to other jobs, and the majority of statements that you see are Brett Payne's. Where is Rosendal's statements? Where are all the thousands of, if not hundreds, allegedly documents that are missing that they don't want the public to see? You want to talk about transparency? There are no transparency. There's no transparency here. They're only going to let us see what they want us to see. They don't want us to see how high this goes. This is not about the roommates. This is not about the frats. Were they involved? Perhaps. This is much higher. This is territorial war. This is like political war. Okay? Every American should be screaming. What they've done in this case is unconstitutional on so many levels. Okay, so this report was taken by Aaron Morris, interview with J.N. And obviously, like I said before, the military, the police do this. They always use the last name first. Even the government does. When you go fill out a form or write the Social Security, they want your last name first, your first name last. So he enters it. He writes the report. No evidence. And here's the narrative. This is the narrative they wanted to sell you on. On 11/17/22 at 2:30, I responded to the University of Idaho Kibble Dome to interview J.N. Okay, now let me be very clear here. This one paragraph tells us already that J.N. works at the University of Kibble Dome. What would that be to you? I mean, I break things down. I look for the individuals. I have found every single individual from all these reports in a matter of 48 hours. So who do you think JN is that the cop had to go and meet them at the University of Idaho Kibble Dome? Any guess? Any guesses? Did you guys figure this one out yet? I'll let the chat catch up. Oh, yeah, it's Kibby Dome. Sorry. Kibble. It's Kibby. I apologize for that one. Okay. Captain Barrett stated N. Now remember, this is third-hand information. Okay, so Captain Barrett stated N possibly had information regarding the homicide. So Captain Barrett told Aaron Morris that JN, they've even redacted his middle initial, N possibly had information regarding the homicide. N took Detective Dean and myself to a conference room to speak. Okay? Now, you can go to the website and look up all the employees that have the initials J for the first name and N, and you'll find it right away. Okay? So JN says, N stated on Sunday, 11/13, between 9 and 10 hours, he was walking his dog. He stated when he walked by the first time, he noticed in the front door of 1122 King Road. Those two sentences basically say JN works at the University of Idaho. He's affiliated with Idaho Kibby Dome, and he lives in the area. He walks his dog, guys. He lives in that neighborhood. Okay? For people asking, what's Kibby Dome? Kibby Dome at the U of I is the activity center, the multi-purpose activity center, where they actually held the memorial. It's the stadium that you see. They play basketball, they do graduations, they play football. It's that thing that you saw in the memorial. Yes, that big dome. And anyone can go and see who perhaps is, this person with the initials that walks their dog, who saw the door open. You guys can kind of go and see all the employees that work there on your own, okay? Now, I'm not going to give out any information because honestly, even though these documents are public information, and if this person has never been mentioned, let's say on Reddit or in an email or in any social media post or anything like that, is not on social media, does not have a profile, but has public records of owning a home in the area. Now that's public record, but this document right here is not public record. This is their one witness that the state of Idaho was going to use in this trial. Somebody that had an association with the university. Okay? Someone who had some stake in the game, some skin in the game over at the U of I. So he's walking his dog on King Road on the north side of the building facing campus. And it was wide open. So this guy's going to get up there and say and testify, I saw the house at King Road, the door was wide open while walking my dog. Okay. You guys got to follow along with how bogus this is. And then he says he stated he knew it was a party house, so assumed someone was too intoxicated and forgot to close the door the night prior. Okay, so this guy knows it's a party house. How does he know? Number one, is it just hearsay? Has he been to a party there? Has he associated with these girls before? Does he know any of these girls? Okay, probably not. But he says they might have been intoxicated. Okay, JN, were you there with them drinking that night? Or is it just hearsay? Did you witness this? Okay. Yeah, Matthew Moy had a party that night on Walenta Drive behind the house. Okay, so let's get back to this 20 and then we'll finish this up. Maybe they were intoxicated and forgot to close the door the night prior. Do you spy on these girls, JN? Do you live in the area where you can actually see and watch and know everything going on? Because remember, guys, someone just said Matt Moye was in the party. He's the one that was calling in the noise complaints because he had to get up early in the morning at 2:30 and leave by 3. Okay. Shoot, there's several JNs on the website. Yes, Crystal, but if you really want to find out who it is, the records of deeds in Moscow is all public record online, so you can find somebody if they live in the area. You just narrow it down. Now, N stated he walked his dog up Taylor Avenue to Blake Avenue, then down Sweet Street. He said the walk took him approximately 1 hour. N stated when he walked back to his apartment around 11 hours, it's 11 a.m., the front door was still wide open. Oh my God, Kohberger's guilty because he saw the door open? What the heck? Holy moly. Is that what they're going to try to get this guy to say on the stand? Kohberger is so guilty because the door was left open. No, he never witnessed Kohberger being there. He never witnessed anything. And how can they put him down as a witness? That's a lie and that's bogus. So when he walked back to his apartment, okay, the front door was still wide open. Okay, so that narrows it down. He just said apartment. He lives in an apartment. So usually those people who live in apartments, it's not public record unless they have a database where you can Google who lives at whatever address. There are some databases out there. So he lives in an apartment. It wouldn't be in the public records of deeds. And the front door was still wide open. He was unsure if the information was known or not, but thought he should report it. I asked N if he knew anyone who lived in the house. He said, not personally, but in passing. I thanked N and cleared. Okay, So he knew people who lived there, but not personally and in passing. So what could he possibly do? Get on the stand and say, I saw the door open. I didn't know anybody there and I didn't see anything. That doesn't make you a witness, guys. It doesn't make you a witness to put somebody to the death penalty. So here's my point to all this. I know Jack had blood in the house. Did they DNA test it? Did they photograph this? Half of this stuff was overlooked because I think the Moscow Police Department knew who did this. They had already known at a higher level who ordered it or who did it. Okay? There is no proof that this guy in their evidence log, let me grab it again, that says J.N. is a witness, and this is a statement on 11/17 that matches with supplement 20. There is no witness here. So this police report, this evidence log, says he's a witness right here. The only known witness to this crime is somebody that saw the door open for more than an hour while walking his dog to his apartment and didn't really know these people. He just observed or in passing. And that's who they were going to say that could align him. Don't you think that Ann Taylor knew that this was bogus? And the only way that she could have some type of new evidence or appeal available was for this to all be released? So if Bryan is in prison and he's getting threats, what do you think they're going to do? They usually don't protect prisoners in prison. Only if you're a witness to something larger. And I think for the last couple of years since they took down the pipeline, this is my humble opinion, that Kohberger has been a witness. The July 2nd, when he did his odd plea and took that plea deal, was the same day that Jesse James Bailey, Candace, and the whole group was taken out. And just 2 weeks before these kids were unalived, 2 of those parents in that house with those kids were busted for drug trafficking associated with this alleged group. So don't tell me this didn't involve drugs. Don't tell me this didn't involve torturing those kids. And don't tell me that he did this in under 7 minutes. Oh, Phoenix, why do you say 7 minutes? I'm going to show you why I say 7 minutes, because this came from factual court documents. And the reason I put them side by side is so you could figure it out on your own. You can figure it out. But I'm going to help you along. And what does it say? It says clearly at 4:12, Xana was known to be active on her social media, on her phone, suggesting she was alive. And this is the prosecution's narrative, although we know this is not the accurate timeline. They had to change the timeline to fit their narrative, because if they would have came out and said, oh my God, a massive gang that lives in this area that we've had a problem with for the last 50 years or so, that's taken over this area, taken over our federal prisons, that have basically have people on the inside and the outside. This is what happened when crime gets so crazy. You've got people going in the pokey for crime, then they come out and do more crime. Now they know people in and out, in and out. It reminds me of a movie I watched many years ago, Blood In, Blood Out, or something like that. And not only now do they have people on the outside that they recruited from the inside, but they've got people on the inside that are helping people on the outside. Don't you think that that would be massive national security? Heck yeah, I would. I've had relatives that worked undercover in gang units too, guys, drug units. This stuff happens all the time. It's just gotten to a level that was so out of control. Did you know that President Trump, and you know how I feel about the presidency, you know that I feel about politics. There is an operation at play, Take Back America. And in that priority for our nation, they take down everyone that's doing the drugs, everyone that's trafficking, human trafficking, cryptocurrency to pay, whatever they're everything all involved. And it's all agencies, all hands on deck to take this off of our streets because it's killing Americans. It's killing our culture, our society. Don't you think there's something larger at play here? It's just not about Omerta and the AF hybrid. This is something that is compounded over decade after decade after decade. And this is what they didn't want the public to know. It would freak everyone out when we're trying to get back after COVID, when we're trying to get back in the inflation and people losing jobs and money's getting tight. Well, they're sucking more people into the drug trade just to make a buck. You have got to think of this on a higher level. You've got to put your hands in there and say, wow, oh my gosh, I never thought about it this way. Is this even possible? Guys, I question the unthinkable because I'm seeing it play out. We go along our busy lives, we're working full time, we're taking care of our family, we're just excited about the next event, or, yeah, we don't think about these things on a daily basis because we're so consumed with other things. But this is what's going on outside our doors. And these are where we send our kids to school. And the police know this. And sometimes they have to mitigate. And what do I mean by that? I talked about this on the last week's live. Sometimes they have to mitigate. I talked to a district attorney myself. And I asked him, what are you doing to take these people off the streets that are doing drugs and dealing drugs? And you know what their answer was? He specifically told me, in my job, in my career, I have to decide, is it worth taking a bed in jail for somebody who's just using or maybe dealing? I have to put sometimes them back on the street, and I have to take the murderers off the street. I have to take the traffickers off the street. So they put all those people back in the street, guys. They have to decide who they're going to keep in jail and who they're not. And what happens? It just gets worse and worse. Because it's not just, oh, you got caught using, I'm going to slap you on the hand. Why do you think those officers on the body cams were like, Molly McDonald, we want you to go to rehab. We want to see you better. We want to get you off of this stuff. You saw Kara, Xana's mom. They wanted her to go to rehab. They wanted her to stop using. That's how you shut these people down. That's how you shut these drug traffickers down. You get them where it hurts. You take the people and help them. And that is the reason you're seeing all this over and over and over again. And if there is a gang war going on with these parents, don't you think that they would have thought, let me get my kids out of here, let's get them moved out? Maybe put them somewhere else? The only reason they found Kohberger was from a Google search because he was doing his job in criminology to find out what happened at the Idaho 4 house. Don't you think? Or was he using and then they ambushed him over there and tried to get everybody there at the same time? Well, that's possible. But let me show you. Phoenix, 7 minutes, 7 minutes. I got the slide up here. So let's take a peek real quick. Here we go. At 4:12, they believe Xana was on her phone. That's the timeline they want us to go with. At 4:17, the audio taken from surveillance was the thud that you hear and the dog barking. I'm going to give you my theory in a minute. And at 4:20, the same white Elantra was leaving, speeding away. Okay? So this is 4:12. I'm not going with their whole theory that he came in at 4 a.m. and 4:04 and try to search for a parking lot, because we know damn well that was the DoorDash driver. By now, you should all know that. And I said that from day one when they showed us the video. I'm like, that damn car's lost. Something's not right here. So the last thing they're saying that they know is at 4:12 that Xana was on her phone. 4:12 to 4:17 is 5 minutes. 5 minutes, guys. This is the prosecutor's timeline in court documents. Now, 4:20, the car is speeding off. The reason I say 7 minutes, if you go back and watch that video, it was 4:19, not 4:20. That video doesn't line up. And then you take that minute off of there, and that is 5, 6, 7 minutes. 7 minutes. Yes. Yes, there was an undercover car driving around there, but that was not them in the Elantra. If you go by the reports, this happened between 3, hold on a minute. My timeline has always been accurate. 2:42. 2:42. And there you have it. There's the 7 minutes. If you go by the footage on Dateline, it said 4:19. This is court documents. 4:20 is not the accurate time. On the left side, you can see all of Dylan and Bethany's text when they start. Why would she make a new contact at 3:51? Because the deed was done by then. That's my humble opinion. And the only way that we would know is to see that CAS data from her phone, to know that she was there in the house, and also to understand that honestly, who was telling the truth in their documents. See, if they had a hit on these kids and they basically said, don't tell anyone, don't call 911, or else we're coming to get you. And don't ever come back to Idaho. Get out of here and don't ever come back. I wouldn't go back. I sure as hell wouldn't be a witness, and I wouldn't say a word. And you're seeing it right now. Part of the freaking ritual is Dylan allegedly is getting paid for her role. They are taking care of her. And now you see their GoFundMe, just like everyone else's GoFundMe in this case. We'll take care of you. We'll take care of you on the back end. The only person I don't see one for yet was Bethany. Bethany ain't putting up with this crap, and neither are the Chathans, in my humble opinion. That's my opinion, not anybody views here or the people that watch. That's my opinion. And you have got to understand this is how they take care of one another. We'll take care of you. You scratch our backs, we'll scratch yours. And whoever did the deed, I'm sure Kohberger knows. I'm sure he knows. I'm sure he researched and he went the long distance route to find out who it was. He worked with Ann to find out who they were. I told you the other day, Ann was so spot on when she basically asked the police department for She asked the Moscow Police Department for their lobby video footage to see who their witnesses they were interviewing were. And you know what? She found the people that may have been responsible and gave them the alternative perpetrators. And did anyone listen? Nope. They were shot down left and right. This is something seriously dangerous with this whole community there. And one thing that struck me was when Steve said, you came in and you tried to bring our community down. That threw me for a loop. And I said, who is Bryan Kohberger that they would have so much hatred for one individual when we know it's not him that did this? They know it's not him, guys. They have to know. They're not playing stupid. They're just playing by the rules. They're not going to go after everyone who did this. They're going to go after the one person that Steve gave us the idea. You tried to come into our community. You tried to break us apart. You tried to rat us out. You tried to get us all in trouble down here. You stepped in our territory. That's what I saw. That's what I heard. I don't know what you all heard in that courtroom, but that's what I heard. You tried to come in and take our territory. You tried to come in and say everyone was corrupt. You tried to come in and run the sheriff out of town. And who sent you? You are going to be our prisoner of war, and we're going to put you in prison so nobody will ever believe you again. Who was Bryan Kohberger? Who was he? Who is he that he would take down a whole network? Because the feds went in and took down the whole network with all these agencies. Let that sink in for a minute. Who was he? Is he innocent? What are we going to do about it? Well, I know many of you know I've written the DOJ. I've written the prison. I've written Kohberger. Of course they are. The reason I couldn't get in when I went down to Boise, the reason that they wouldn't let me have a video interview, the reason that they wouldn't let me send messages is because they were controlling who he was talking to. It's about control. It's about control. If he was a Fed sent there to break all this up, if he was a prisoner of Moscow, Idaho, Moscow courts, and he had to wait for the marshals to come and rescue him, because you guys did see the marshals in court, right? If he had to wait for the marshals to step in and protect him, who is Bryan Kohberger? We have just seen on national TV what they do to people who will try to take out evil. You have just witnessed this. Now, what do you think? It's not about the reports, not about the people involved. It's so much higher level. And not to mention the families who have benefited off this. GoFundMes. There should be a federal investigation on these GoFundMes. Is Kohberger in witness protection? Drop a 1 if you think he is. I believe he's 100% in witness protection. Did you know, and this is coming from my source that I have approval to share this, did you know that Bryan was in forensics CSI? 4 samples were sent in and only 1 sample was ran. And guess whose sample that was? They framed Bryan Kohberger. In my humble opinion, allegedly. They know he will be exonerated. This case is far from over, and we have to pray for him. You believers out there, we are waging a war against good and evil. This is a spiritual war, not just a physical, what we see in our neighbors and the streets that we live in. This is a much higher fight. Anne knew there was evidence that would exonerate them, and the state did not give it. It's called blackmail. They're going to pin him on this because he has proof he didn't do it. He knows he didn't do it. But they had to fit the narrative to make him seem like he did it. And the only way they could do it was in the media. There was a leak, and the judge knew there was a leak. Steve G. wanted this to go to trial. Anne wanted this to go to trial. The state did not. And the state said, okay, uncle, we'll give him the plea deal. Don't tell on us. We have a whole organization to keep running. We cannot let this get out how crooked we are. Everybody's got to scatter, get their pensions, get different jobs. Then we'll let the public know that we weren't that great of people after all. Think about it. This is how the system works. They're all up in each other's business. Yeah, the U of I has a leg in here. If they've got some guy walking and saying, oh, yeah, I saw the door open, does that make him guilty? No. No. I feel bad. Whoever Bryan Kohberger really is, he got framed. He got busted. His parents are suffering. They didn't have any money to go, and they had to use a public defender who left the public defender's office to still represent him. They have phone evidence. They have metadata that can prove he's innocent. I'm sure Bryan knows who did the killings. I'm sure he got footage of it and was going to rat the person out in court, and they wouldn't let him explain or have a trial. And that's exactly what we saw. I know it. I feel it. My source feels it. My source knows him. Bryan Kohberger would not hurt anyone, and he would never treat a woman like this, ever. And my source would not tell me if they didn't believe it themselves and witness. They know him very, very well. And you know what? Sad. This person sent a tip into the FBI they ignored. They sent a tip into the police department they ignored. And when they asked to remain anonymous, they refused them. And that's why the state let him live. And Steve knows justice in prison will be served if people believe, like most people believe out there, that Kohberger did this himself in under 7 minutes. Now keep in mind that the way they found these victims, Xana was the only one that was not covered. That was a message and a humiliation to the family of betrayal of trust. And you all can send me all the hate messages you want. And all you anonymous TikTokers out there. I'll read it word for word what someone sent me. This is crazy. You think this is going to make me shut up? I'm going to scream even louder. You guys just don't know me. There's a police report out there that I won't stop screaming the truth. Why would we all not want the truth? We deserve it. We're taxpayers. We believe our system is supposed to protect us. As it should. But I'm sure if you're like me and I'm thinking to myself, is this what we're paying for? That's not a good investment on our return and our tax dollars, guys. In my humble opinion, I wouldn't pay for something like this. Why in the heck? These people in Idaho should be screaming from the rooftops. They should be screaming how our police department are traitors. This is exactly what this account not found said yesterday at 6:53. I've only got one message, so I'm going to make it worth it. Obviously, we're not friends. You're, by a mile, the biggest cunt I've ever come across. You're vile and disgusting, fat and ugly. I hope. And then they stopped typing and they sent that one message. So your one message wasn't even a complete thought. Did you get scared in the middle of writing it? Did you hit accident on accident? Did you hit send on accident? You couldn't even make your statement, finish your statement. I think that's hilarious. Because you know what? Just like all things, TikTok can go ahead and get a subpoena done through their legal department and find out who you are, what your username is, where you live. You can use a VPN, but you still had to sign up with a phone number or damn email address that can be tracked. There's a petition that you can sign to exonerate Bryan Kohberger for violating his constitutional rights. And it is on change.org. And so far, there are 257 signatures. All it needs is 300. I'm going to share it. I'm going to sign the petition myself because I don't just talk the talk. You guys, in order to get something done, you have to put it into action. You have to be intentional. And you want to have justice served. This could have been any one of you guys. If you were sent, let's just say you worked undercover and you were sent to do a job and they caught on to what you were doing, or you found something that could actually be detrimental to national security, what would you do? You swore to uphold and defend the Constitution of the United States of America and our freedoms. Everyone should get a fair trial. And he wasn't even afforded that because of the media. And who owns the media that went after him publicly to humiliate him? I mean, those are the questions that I ask. Who's the paid opposition here? Who are the creators that are smearing his name all over? What in the world? What's in it for them? What's their end game? Are they just being paid to do whatever they need to do because somebody told them that you have to push this agenda? You have to push this narrative? Well, you know what? They all connect. They all have links. They all know each other. Don't you think that's a little odd why they know each other and how they know each other? I mean, when I started thinking about this, I was like, wait, this doesn't make sense. Why is this one individual continue to bash this guy when they don't even have any truth, facts, or evidence? You're going to sell your soul for a little bit of money here and there on social media? Or are you going to stand up for your damn rights that we have been afforded as Americans? This is when I look and I see these people out there talking. I'm like, so you just traded your constitutional right for a few bucks? What is that all about? Truly. Is that what we've come to in this country? That I'm just going to be a sellout, a little sellout for a few dollars a month? Is that what, I mean, if you're not in on this scam, you're not going to make any money? Is that what all this is truly about? Here's the petition to exonerate Bryan Kohberger for violation of his constitutional rights. It's on change.org. You can go and sign the petition. I think they should have plenty by the end of the day. This is one way. Another way is to write the Department of Justice. Email, fax, evidence. Write what you feel. Know your facts and evidence to back it up. Don't just say, I think Bryan Kohberger is innocent, and then send the email off. You need to put a 3-bullet point at least. He wasn't even in the area. The court documents, and these are ideas to give you based on facts, and you can attach the court document. You can attach it. State took a plea deal. Why would they bargain down to a plea deal if they knew that he was factually innocent? These are things that he was denied removal of the death penalty because of his ASD. He was denied an alternative perpetrator theory when all these documents from the police department clearly show he wasn't involved. Others were. Big time. These are ideas where we could use our voices, our signatures, our email to voice our opinions in the American legal system and the justice system that has failed an American. I mean, you don't have to go out and get on TV and use a bullhorn or, go on social media and just, you can actually use your voice right from where you're at. I wish there was a 1-800 call number we could call in. I wish we could band together and get him a really good attorney. Maybe we could crowdsource or fundraise. That's one way. But it has to be done through a trust, a legal way. Not, I'm going to open a GoFundMe and I'm going to pay to have my house repaired or my bathroom repaired in Coeur d'Alene. No, that crap is for the birds. That's illegal. Using GoFundMe and not for its intended purpose clearly violates their agreement. Now, when you do and speak out and say something like this, make sure you know your facts. They want to know facts. And all those people, I'm sure you guys saw this in the case. There was so much misinformation. And then all these people calling in saying that they had this, they had that. And factual, some of these were kooky people that the FBI already knows about. Right? You've seen that in some of the documents if you read them. So with that, I'm going to leave it. Do your civic duty. If you feel that Bryan Kohberger was violated, was not given a fair trial, he had no he didn't have any leg to stand on to get a fair trial. They railroaded him. The state of Idaho railroaded him. And it's because the deep, deep, deep political pockets. Maybe that'll be my next live. Why don't we not expose these people, but let's educate who these people are at the university, in the political arenas, in these families, their legacies. Why don't we educate people on who these people are? Now that Kohberger has moved over from the Ada County Jail does have a contract with getting out. Now that he is in the Idaho State prison system, I believe it is J-Pay. Lulu Bell says, what do you mean we can't march in LA with flags and spray paint buildings? No, that is not what I'm saying. That would be nice, but that's not going to get us the positive attention that we need and the change that we are asking for. Let's see what this says. Phoenix, it cracks me up. Hold on a minute. It just scrolled on by me. It cracks me up that she didn't even finish. Then I challenge her, and that's exactly what she wouldn't do, the DOJ. Plus, why is the word fat always being thrown around? A female is a small stature. I don't know. You know what? I say fluffy. I don't say fat. I say fluffy. I think fat is such a derogatory word. Yeah, it is fat. It is fat. Some of us have more fat than others. I mean, we need fat to survive. You know, I could get into the physiological side of why there is stored fat. It's your genetic mechanism that has a mutation. It's that simple. And the pharmaceutical companies know this. So if we give you more fat and more sugar items, you're going to store more fat because you're broken. And they can make money off of broken people. But don't get me started on that one. Phoenix mods, I'm willing to go on panel. I believe BK is a Fed. Yeah, I believe so too. And a couple of, at least one bad cop, in your opinion, is actually Fed. Hit me up. Love, aloha. Yeah, I believe he's some type of Fed or informant sent in to take down that whole arena. Or he was set to do a job there and accidentally discovered stuff they didn't want him to know. And that's why they are painting him as a traitor. You came into our community. You came in, you tried to break our family apart. And we are a united community. Yeah, what community are you guys talking about out there? I don't think there's somewhere I'd want to live, right? And I moved out of Idaho, folks. I've seen enough good old boy systems. Check the bad guys. Josh H protects whoever did this in a collaborative fight. Yeah, I believe that too. That's highly possible. And what did I say in my notebook? First thing, follow the money. Stay away from seed oils. Yes, and stay away from synthetic folic acid. It's in every single product, including even hair shampoo and supplements. You want folate, green leafy veggies, or methylfolate. You want the real deal. Where's the petition? The petition's on change.org, and it's right on the screen. You can go ahead and look at that. Yeah, Bryan Kohberger can get exonerated and sue the hell out of Idaho. It would make Idaho so broke. Keep emailing the DOJ. Off topic, but you want to laugh. Has anyone seen the TikTok with the guy in prison releasing a video looking for people to send him money to JPay? No, I'll have to look it up. I like how Birdie throws those in. Don't forget, I hate to say that. I should say remember tonight at 7 Central Standard Time, Birdie is having the FBI, ex-FBI agent, come on today. He was in a few situationships where he is sharing everything he's learned. The Fed theory about Kohberger is also plausible. Unfortunately, the murder of 4 colleges is not a priority. It's not, and that's the sad thing. But you guys, you've got to focus off of the unalivings. You've got to focus off the murders. You have to focus on the innocent here. We are giving way too much attention and praising whoever did this and blaming it on someone else. We've got to take the focus off these victims. We have to take the focus off these surviving victims per the court. Okay, they all played a part. We are focusing and giving way too much energy to this whole media circus they've created, and we really have to focus on the innocent here. That is what they don't want us to do. You know, degrading him and saying he's inmate number, so he doesn't have a name anymore. Bullshit. We were all given a God-born given name, and his name is Bryan Kohberger, as we know. You have to focus on the innocents. Okay? Take the power away from them trying to get people's money for a GoFundMe for healing. You got to be kidding me. They were broadcast all over the media. I hope you get big D's in prison. Well, I hope all these people get caught and then they get big D's in prison. How about that one? The ancestry of the grands and spouses are private. Haven't seen that before. No, they're not. There are tons of public records available of all these people, guys. I'm going to give you a little tidbit of information. Okay? Ancestries of the children and grounds and spouses are private. That's not true, Moonflower. There are a lot of public records that you can request. There are a lot of public articles you could request. Let me give you some homework to do. If you don't know by now, I will give you some education on one family that is related to the Idaho 4, and that is the Showalters. If you don't know anything about the Showalters, you got a lot to learn. There is so much public information on them, you wouldn't believe. Dad is some type of surgeon doctor, mom is some type of doctor. They are all affiliated with the U of I. They all were affiliated with Washington State Medical School that they recently passed a bill in Idaho that they were not too happy with to dismantle that medical school. Now everyone has to go to the Utah school. And if you go look at the list of donors for the University of Idaho, every single Showalter in that family are doctors except for one. There is a lot of family history there. If you don't know how to look for political donations, go look how many people have given political donating funding for people in legislature, people in elections. It's all public knowledge, all public. And we will continue to say his name, Bryan Kohberger. We're not going to call him BK. His name is Bryan Kohberger, and that will piss them off more than anyone ever knows. Don't use their inmate number. They're out there pushing that agenda and that campaign to call him by his inmate number. That's bullshit. That's the worst thing they can do to humiliate somebody who's factually innocent. They have to think better than that. So until we know, I'll keep bringing you information. There are a lot of other good creators that come from different angles. I'm just telling it right off the way it is. No ins, ands, or buts. Now, if you have a topic you want me to cover, drop it below. I'm not just focused on Bryan Kohberger's case. This case is far from over. But there are some other cases. As this keeps unfolding and unfolding and unfolding, you know, I'm sure we're going to be hearing an appeal pretty soon in a hearing. And I hope that this goes all the way to the Supreme Court. I really do. I hope federal come in and investigate. That's all we can hope for is that exact thing. And if you didn't know this, I'm going to leave you with a little tidbit of information. Make sure you sign the petition. I'm sure by the end of the day we can get this at 500, guys. Between us, Birdie, we're going to share it everywhere. We should be able to. Let me tell you one thing I found interesting. I should have put this up on the screen. Dang it. Hold on one second. Where did I put it? Oh, I hate that when I do that, guys. I'm so embarrassed. Shoot. What did I do with it? Hold on one second. Okay. Bryan Kohberger's inmate number is 163214. Why is that significant? You want a riddle? I'm going to give you a riddle. I should have a riddle every live. You signed and contributed. Bless your heart. Bless your heart. I hope Barron Trump puts this in his file, in his dad's ears. I hope so too. Woohoo, we're up to 275. No freaking way. Are you guys serious? That is awesome. If every single one of us shares this, I want you to share it with at least one person and have them share it with one person. So if you message them, ask them, can you sign and share this with at least one person? And ask them to turn around and share it with at least one person. By the end of the day, I'm sure we could have over 3,000 signatures, because that is the beauty of adding, multiplying, and exponentiating. Have you ever heard of that phrase? The phrase, the petition is on change.org. I'm going to have a riddle time. I'm going to have to make me a chart. Inmate number 163214. Why is that so important? It represents power, justice, or karma. Now, if you don't tell me that's powerful, inmate 163214 equals 17. 17, 1 and 7 equal 8. That's associated with power, justice, or karma. That's powerful. It's time that Kohberger gets justice. It's time for his karma. Google it if you don't believe me. It's a combination, a password pattern, a lock combination. It's a numeric cipher. It could be coded as that sequence. And it's also a pattern used in criminal or military coding. 163214. Now, don't tell me that's not wild. The numerology breakdown is crazy. So, as always, there is your call to action. Let's get this Kohberger petition signed at change.org. You can write the DOJ, your call to action, pick one. It's that so much easy. Change.org. And thank you to the individual that started that, put that up there, was bold enough to stand up and do something. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. We're at 277. Feel like I'm having a fundraiser. Melissa Pittman was the one who started this. I don't know who she is, but it was started over a year ago, and it still holds true today, a year later. All right. So everyone, thanks for joining the live. I wanted to have it shorter, but we're good to go. And I honestly believe Kohberger is innocent. If you do too, please share this. Jay Embry is sounding the alarm. The officer. Yeah, we know it's Tinsdale. We know another officer is involved too. They have to protect their investment. They have to protect their area out there. See, this is what the DA told me too also, guys. When you have that large of an area and that large of a gang per se, the police know who they need to protect. The police know what they can and can't do. It's like they might have taken over the whole damn state if they could have. And like I said, this is good against evil. This is spiritual. It's not just what we physically see in this realm. It's more. It's a lot more. And you have to look beyond being angry at these roommates. They may have been in a position where they had to do what they had to do to survive. So I think his family was threatened too. I know his mother's not taking that too well, but let's just keep him in our thoughts and prayers and do the right thing. We can do the right thing. Every single one of us can do the right thing. Every single one of us. So like and follow. I so appreciate you guys. If you can, give up a donation, give up a super chat. Keep this stream going. I plan on being here as long as I can. They have been trying to silence me on other platforms like TikTok, but that's okay. I'm going to keep on sharing whatever I can, whatever I find, whatever I know, so that you can be educated. I so appreciate you guys. Like and follow for more. Be well. Be well, my little nesters.
Phoenix, what do you see? Unlocking knowledge for you and me. The nest is rising strong and true. Sharing wisdom, me and you. Clap, clap, clap for the truth we seek. Every answer, week by week.
Yo, microphone check 1 2. This ain't no ordinary stream. From the ashes, Phoenix talks manifest in a dream. Got a growing channel, YouTube's where the wisdom resides. For all the nest members, no truth can ever hide. She's an under-detective on the digital beat, questioning the unthinkable, bringing fire to the heat. With a mind so advanced, highly intelligent and bold, part of the hive mind with birdie stories to unfold. Common sense is a superpower, cutting through the noise, unlocking closed minds, amplifying all our voices.
Phoenix, Phoenix, what do you see? Unlocking knowledge for you and me. The nest is rising strong and true. Sharing wisdom, me and you. Clap, clap, clap for the truth we seek. Every answer, week by week.
This ain't no ordinary stream. From the ashes, Phoenix talks manifest in a dream.